right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Damage Control. This is Mookie, joined with Dart Beaver, and maybe Dale will be joining in on us for another Sunday morning of our show here, where we're going to break down the latest topics and events going on with Marvel Strike Force. Go ahead and kind of go through each. I guess really we'll kind of go back and forth between Darth and I, just thinking about what's going on with the past events, present events going on, Moonstone release, and also talk about the Apocalypse Saga preparations that we're going to start doing. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. And for those on Twitch, we'll have another show right after that. We'll go ahead and break down the Cosmic Crucible gameplay, so stay tuned for that. And for the YouTubers, stay tuned for that second episode that I'll upload as well. So, and I'm peeking over here into the lobby and I see Dale. So we'll introduce Dale, man, if you can hear us. Good morning, Dale. How are you doing?
Morning. Good. How are you?
All right, good, man. Doing good. And Darth, how are you doing, buddy?
Spectacular. I'm doing great.
All right, man. Good. All right, so I'm just adjusting some settings real quick here. But let's go into the order here a little bit. I have a lot of windows browsed up, but start off on the gameplay first of it. I guess what we'll do, I want to kind of, I guess, be transparent first to talk about my Apocalypse setup and what's going on here with my teams and upgrades, because that's kind of the big news. Part of what came up on the blog post. I didn't see a date yet. Did either of you guys notice that, or do any of y'all anticipate when the actual Apocalypse?
There's a countdown in the events.
There is a countdown.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Like 6 days now.
I think it's Friday. I think it's on the 10th. I think it's with all these other stuff that's coming down. I think it's on the 10th.
Okay, because I noticed that part of the blog post they were talking about is having one of them. They're going to keep kind of going in rotations, right? With the Horseman sagas, their individual sagas going through on the background, it seems like. And I think it is Morgan Le Fay that's coming through for another run. The one that just ended up this last week, and I think that Dale, did you get your 7 gold star on Archangel?
I did.
Cool, congrats. Yeah, I paused. I didn't go hard on that. Every time like it goes through like a second and third rollouts, I get less interested in grinding. But I got my 6. So that's why I'm kind of talking about it out loud as far as like them rolling out, because I'm hoping that they have another Archangel soon. It doesn't sound like the cadence is going to be there in time for me to go after 7 during the Apocalypse rollout, but it's all right, But anyways, yeah, I got to 6 on that particular one. But the one thing that happened last week, and I think it happened over to Darth, and then I want to say you're probably on deck next, Dale. It's getting the level 4 ions that we have on all of our Apocalypse characters here that you're seeing on my screen. So I'm excited for that. I was able to go ahead and start cracking the door to get into the baby Apocalypse side of things. So I'm ready for it. But the big news and why I'm showing this is that what they're starting to introduce is the rollout on the campaign nodes and also the reward structures of it. So I do have a screen. We're going to go into MarvelStrikeForce.com. It's not MSFG anymore. The actual web browser is MarvelStrikeForce.com. But I'm starting off with this roster because I wanted to ask you guys. I mean, this is, part of it. I just wanted to kind of casually talk with you guys, and I'm curious, how often, I guess, Dale, do you go into the side? Do you kind of look at your characters? Have you synced your roster yet?
Yeah, I check it out every now and again.
Okay, because this is cool right here. I want to show this yet. I mean, because I don't know if you've done this, Darth, but sync your roster, and I don't know if you saw that. So already, boom, right then and there, it actually go ahead and it has it all synced up, so I can actually review my roster on this website. And one of the cool things that I've also saw is that you can go ahead and start going into your individual roster stats. You know how I keep on saying MSF GG. They had like a whole stat table, but this one is like specific to your roster that you can also do. So you can see like, who has the biggest, damage output on your squad. And right here it has them already preset where like Nakia's at 6 gold and where my reds are and how they kind of fare up. And I think I haven't used it as much, so I'm kind of talking out loud and reminding myself, like, especially when we're on that cusp of like, oh, who do I want to get next as a 6 red star? You can kind of jump right into stat table because the boost on the 6 red is pretty high. So you can start looking at it like, so I look at Nakia with her damage output. It's like, ooh, maybe I should look at her, or maybe I should, of course, this is Horseman with the dark promos with Rogue. But you kind of see where I'm getting at, Darth. You know how you can kind of look at this here. It's kind of cool. It's a quick way to see who's missing the 6 reds. I think he's under this campaign here. So now it's been updated. Where on the far right column, you can have your different choices here about event campaigns you want to take a look at. And there it is. It's the Apocalypse Heroic. And it goes into the nodes, so you can go ahead and start clicking away and kind of seeing what the enemy waves are, what star levels you're at. And okay, and of course, again, this is for the baby Apocalypse, so this is the heroic side. And then you could just start, going through. But what I've been, it's just weird, right? Because right now I feel like, oh, there it is. Okay, I was looking for the rewards. So each node is going to go ahead and start giving the rewards. You see that 700k ions? So that's a big deal. And I know Mobile and Dorky are already kind of starting out to relay this information that we wanted to share as well. It's just like being mindful about that is the cadence as far as how you want to upgrade your characters. I already have mine all the way across the floor with the T4 ions, but if any of those are in the field as far as being short and needing that extra T4 ion boost, the right idea as far as on upgrading your roster is going to be going on the way that the Horseman characters have been released. All right, so it's all going about Morgan Le Fay and her Darkhold team first, and then that way you can jump into that, because that's the that's going to be the requirement. Shoot, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get back into that other main page. So let's go back here, heroic, and then here it is in the yellow. So the requirements is Darkhold for the first part, and then it talks about the Unlimited on the second, Gamma, Death Seed, and then that kind of like a hybrid where you get the Marvel Strike Force characters, the Deadpool, Spider-Weaver. So I don't know what this is. Only Sybil? I never read that. I don't know what that Sybil means. But
Must be Kestrel's name.
Kestrel? Okay. Oh, okay.
Think about
Okay.
it. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah, because that has to be.
And I guess that makes sense because she's not showing there.
Yeah. But take a look at that. I mean, I'll let you know. I don't want to spend too much time breaking it down. But again, in summary, it's like if you want to get into the first sections of it, you have to have your Darkhold team ready. So definitely go ahead and start working on your Darkhold team, which is what's that one? I'm trying to think of the girl's name that people put on the bench.
Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch, yeah. So, anyways, that's that. I don't know. I mean, you got any thoughts of opinions before I kind of step away from the saga on that side? I mean, Dale, are you, where are you at right now, Dale? Are you kind of close or have some?
Yeah, I got all Ion 4 when I completed the tier 17 on Unlimited this week.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
For
you
me, I
get a
think.
lot from that. So that's my best advice for anybody who's lacking. So complete one of your teams to gear 17, and you'll get a lot of Ion 4s.
And now the next topic I want to hit on is going to be in regards to this girl right here, which is a featured character showing up on my screen here, Moonstone. So she came out. She's completing that Masters of Evil squad, which I'm loving them right now. I mean, it's just, it helps, right? Or like, it's specific to my favorite game mode, which is Cosmic Crucible. So it's fitting, right? That, now she's in here and that I'm taking that lunge as far as looking to get that character and taking that purchase to get her. But what was kind of icky and what's happening, right, is the tone that we've been seeing here for the past few weeks, months, as far as like character shards are being very limited. So, and I know you pay real good attention to all of that, Dar. So I guess, what was your thoughts when you jumped into the game? Like when you knew that she was released, did you kind of go through your normal setup as far as getting ready to purchase her, or what's your mindset as far as that preparation?
I did. I went do what I normally do. I was like, oop, it's exciting time. I'm going to open my red stars in a minute, and I like to purchase the character first. And then I went into in-game, because that's where I usually purchase my stuff, and it was $60 for 100 shards. That sucks. And I debated not buying her. And so I put it out on our Discord to you, and you were like, no, go to the web store, because they've got the same deal for $10 less. And so I don't know if I like that or not. I think that that's kind of shitty. I think they should have made the web store a little cheaper, not made in-game more expensive in order to incentivize you to go to the web store. It seems to be that they decided to raise the price of their characters, and the best way they thought to do it was to make everybody go to their website so they can get those extra percentages on every sale. And for everybody that doesn't do it, we're going to collect another $10.
So let me pause real quick on that. So, because this is
Okay.
memory lane, right? I mean, no, this is, and I'm being kind of sarcastic about memory lane because I just want to know about your usual habits. You know, in the past, would you do the Amazon points or Google points, or how would you?
Well, I like Google.
Uh-huh.
I like the Google rewards, and actually, so just for something else, at our local grocery store, we were getting 10 times of gas reward points on Google Play gift cards. So if I bought $50 worth of Google Play gift cards, I would get 500 gas reward points, which would equate to 30 or 40 cents off of a gallon. And in California, where it's $5 a gallon still right now, it's not too much. But on 20 gallons at a time, it really adds up. And it kind of, if you get big enough at one time, it adds up to more money than to save than you would do other things if you can work another way to do that with the other kind of rewards. And they're kind of just taking that away. They've, it wasn't, it's all down to money, right? So the extra $10 was going into my gas tank. So now instead of that, I'm just not spending that $10, and I'm just getting, it's just shitty the way that they're forcing you to do it. I think that they should have left the in-game prices the same, and they should have lowered their web store prices, even if it was only by $5, by 10%. Then they'd still be making more money on the web store. It just wouldn't feel so gross.
Yeah. How about you, Dale? I mean, like in the past, I mean, how would you kind of use your buying options if purchasing anything? Was it directly through the game, or did you do anything as far as Amazon coins or Google Play?
I mostly use Amazon coins.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just for me, I never did that system, which obviously was more efficient, especially the way you broke it down, Darth, and with gas and all that, like those type of things. It was kind of a win-win, and the feeling that they were taking away from you to steer you this way to save your $10 this other way. It's just the company has their mindset, and I get it. In regards to them with the whole, because I've been hearing this from other type of games and either internet stuff or apps and stuff that they were creating their own little side store on the web to avoid Apple, as far as whatever it's like 30% commission kind of thing. So, anyways, but I mean that's one aspect of it, and there's just like layers to it, right? That just kind of feels icky. I mean, you talked about them forcing you to choose a way to spend, your money or how to do it, and then it's like, and this is the big thing that I noticed is that, I mean, there's like no more shards, right? The orbs are no longer there because you have to wait for an event to kind of come through, so then you can purchase more stuff towards the event to get more shards, so they're kind of stringing us along that way, which I'm not even interested in playing that game. So it feels bad that way. And the only positive thing, if I want to say it's positive, what I think that they're doing is for the newbies. It kind of slows it down as far as the progression. That gap between the veteran players and the newbies coming through. I mean, that's the only thing I would say. Maybe they're trying to control it, but that's me trying to be kind about it. If they're thinking that way. But maybe they are. I mean, and then we look at this milestone event, right? It's all newbie related towards more so. So I don't know. You can take, your own thoughts and opinions, but that's for me just kind of thinking about in general, just like, yeah, it's something that I know personally that I don't really even look at this store anymore. That's just my new habit. I just don't, because it's just, I don't want to chase anymore. I don't want to be part of their research, like I don't want to be a bunny. But anyways, but on that front, I think that's all I want to talk about us on the store side. I mean, anything else you got to get off your chest, boys, or about this?
I missed the slot machine. That's all.
Yeah.
I preferred the slot machine. I preferred my 8 slot machine pulls and 45 shards for my money.
Oh, I do too.
I think a lot of that is I averaged about 125 shards, usually probably over the past 5 years that I've been doing this. I just think the shard count's a little low. for the value that I used to get. And I know that the price of everything goes up, but this isn't like this was a cheap game to begin with.
Yeah.
So
Frustrating. Plus, on top of cold storage, have you looked at cold storage yet?
No,
we're
but
gonna talk about
that's
that.
a
I'm
great
super pissed about
transition.
that.
That's a great transition, Dale. Because that's actually what I do have lined up next on my little note sheet. I want to talk about the milestones, and you're really good as far as keeping in the know and kind of looking at everything as far as on the milestone events. So let's jump into it. Let's start off with this screen first before I jump into the game. But Storm Watch, you know, the Brotherhood of the Storm are kind of coming up with these different type of infographics, and it's mainly specific to like, you know, what you got to start saving aspects. So they're talking about claiming the Crucible credits until the 6th, yeah, and then claim your power cores until the 5th, and so forth. So we'll kind of piggyback a little bit off of that. So if I go back into the game here, in regards to what you're talking about, Dell, here it is, the charging station. All right. So the main thing over here, we got to earn 1 power core to get the points up on here. So that's why we've been saving our power cores and our inbox mail, one of those other like passes that they have. So all of that, I've been saving it. I have not been touching any of the power cores. My arena, I've been trying to go all hard this past week, and it feels like everybody in my arena shard are doing the same. I keep getting, you know, kind of put it out of the top 10 a little bit. There's not much of any rewards off of it, right? I mean, as much as we're kind of hoarding off of it.
It's the exact same rewards as far as T4 ions are concerned that a coordinated assault was.
Yeah.
And so if it's I don't know how long the milestone is, but if it's a week long, 3,000 power cores in a week is nothing to earn. So this is the first time I've looked at the bottom. So it's like, so let's say me, I have 7 days of 250 cores saved up. So what is that? 13, whatever. It's like 1,500 cores about. That's usually what I say. So I usually have about 1,500 cores sitting to the side. So I've got over half the cores already sitting there. And throughout the week, you'll earn that again. So I don't see the maxing this event to be any harder than it was to do coordinated assault if it was a solo event, as long as you prep yourself by not collecting any of your arena rewards, or if you're a battle pass buyer,
Yeah.
or a strike pass buyer, wait until this event starts before you purchase that.
Correct. Yeah. So you do see yourself clearing up to milestone 20 by taking that strategy?
Absolutely, and I don't think it'll be too hard.
Okay.
I mean, think about it now. If you have a week worth and you're top 50, that's 200 a week, so that's 1,400 credits. And I'm usually top 20, so that's around between 1,500 and 2,000 credits. So if you're top 10, then you're adding even more and more and more. So, I mean, if you're number 1 every day, that's only 6 days.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then the one, yeah, that I'm thinking in my head here when I was just talking about the ickiness more so, it is it on here? It's the cold storage. Yeah. Yeah.
That's fucking disgusting.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the one that where everybody's gonna kind of be peeking at each other's individual alliance members, seeing how much they're contributing towards earning Crucible credits, and there's even a limitation on that. So I don't it seems kind of high, but I don't know. Yeah, this one right here, Dale. So here's after you've kind of been saving up those power cores, right? From the previous one, or earning them, and then it talks about like spending them. But I just caught Mobile Gamers Show this morning, and they're saying like this is going to overlap with the Commander's Cache event, which is also talking about spending power cores. So definitely, which I haven't relayed this over to our alliance members yet. I don't know if anyone has yet. But the right approach as far as like when you're ready to spend your cores towards the event is when it starts overlapping with the Commander's Cache. And then we'll bring up the Commander's Caches in a second to kind of explain that a little bit more in detail. But I mean, the main thing off of it is just that this is all the alliance and we're all kind of shooting for. And usually, again, they put the main rewards towards the bottom. But I mean, what do you think about the reward side of it, Darth? I mean, is this something that you see yourself chasing, or do you have like a target that you want?
Man, I can't make an individual target for an alliance event.
Yeah.
Especially this event, because this event, if we go into scoring, it's not just earn Cosmic Crucible credits. And you and I have actually talked about this. We got a guy that's out of Cosmic Crucible credits and he's holding on to his mail, but the piece he needs to get a character to 17 is sitting in his Cosmic Crucible store. And if he would only collect that mail, he'd have enough to buy that piece and upgrade that character. Can I ask somebody to not do that and wait for that piece to start to show up in the store again for this alliance thing? Is that the kind of alliance we are? And it would be easy if we were totally hardcore alliance. Everybody would have saved everything and everybody would buy Moonstone and all of the points would come a little easier. But this isn't just a participation event. It's a money event too, because we've got, not only do you earn Cosmic Crucible credits, you've got to use Moonstone in Cosmic Crucible. Well, if you didn't purchase her, you're not going to get any of that this week, because you're not going to have earned her before Thursday to get any points for Cosmic Crucible battles with Moonstone. So that right there says that, do I get upset at my guys for not purchasing Moonstone? Do I get in alliance chat and be like, look, you guys need to buy this character, and not only buy this character, because that'll only get you so many points, but I need you to have her at 5, 6, or 7 stars so that we can max out our points. And fuck that. Like, that's the part that I hate. That the part now where they're requiring stars to do limited events like this, so quick after. It's just them taking whale rewards and rubbing them in our face and being like, you could have had this if you'd have spent a bunch of money. And the fact that they're doing it to our entire alliance is just, it makes me not give a damn about the event at all. We're going to get as far as we can, and I'm going to push guys just a little bit and try to remind them to do the right things to get us there. But there is no extra push on these alliance events for us, just because I want my day-to-day life in the alliance to be much nicer than that. I can't live this high-stress life in my game that I use to de-stress, to try to get 23 other guys who also live a high-stress life to spend money or to do extra things. And it's mostly the money. I don't mind telling people to get on and play. But in order to like invest the amount of money it would take to get your Moonstone to 6 stars, I'm not asking guys to spend $300. You know, that's ridiculous. That's the groceries. Mm-hmm. So I don't like events that I can't get excited about, and it feels like I just can't get excited about this event.
Yeah, you hit it. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what Dell was kind of getting towards, right? I mean, same sentiment.
It's very shitty. It's worse than the Kine event because you just needed other characters up to stars, so that was helpful. But this is just her.
Yeah,
so you can use all those points.
Yeah, I mean that's where the heavy points are. As I'm just kind of scrolling through it, you hit on the Moonstone 5. I don't have her at 5. So
3 probably.
Yeah, I got to 3 just.
And that's the thing about no slot machine pulls.
Mm-hmm.
If we only spent $50, we've all only got 100 shards. There's not that coolness where I pulled 180 Black Panther 1mm shards anymore. You know, like or when somebody else pulls a 180 and you're like, wow, that's all the way from, like, that's a whole star level plus. That just doesn't happen anymore. It's not part of their plan. They didn't want anybody to do that anymore.
And step away from that. I mean, the main take off of that, it's just alliance base and kind of the sentiment that you have, and that's kind of where I feel comfortable. And I'm gonna kind of transition out of the negative feeling and kind of bring back the positive side of stuff. I'm gonna go back down my personal memory lane. So my memory lane, what I liked about our whole alliance is just this right here. As far as leaders like you, Darth, Menace, those that are not like kind of forcing us to kind of feel uncomfortable, you know. It was all about the aggressive style within the gameplay and staying engaged within gameplay, not staying engaged in regards to buying stuff, right? So, and I was, when I first came into the game, I was thrown into some random alliance, didn't know anything about like alliance coordination and all this other kind of stuff to progress through your raid maps when you go into the alliance raids and all that kind of stuff. Like I just played casually, and then as I got more interested in the game, I started understanding the concept of all of that. And two of my alliance members started kind of doing their own research. I didn't even know what Discord was. And he's talking about, hey, Discord, you got to go over here, got to send a resume over to Menace, I was like, what? I had to screenshot my rosters and stuff like that. I had to log on to all this stuff. So I was like, all right, cool, whatever, sounds cool. And I lo and behold, that's when I came into the Damage Alliance here. So I don't know how long ago was that. Feels like maybe 2 years, 2 to 3 years ago. So I bring all of that up too, is that I really like into what I found myself into. Hell, like here we are doing shows, Darth. And you know what's funny about it, Darth? When I saw your name up on there and I started seeing you chat on there, I was like, man, this guy's a bully on this alliance. He's like the big like guy out here, like kind of cracking whips and reminding people to do certain stuff, and not in a negative way, but it was in a way like I was like kind of like in a weird, I hate to say it, like in a weird way, I was like scared to let you down, scared to let alliance people down. Like I felt like when I jumped in there, I better be doing my raids a certain way. But it was fun. It was poor, like it was engagement as far as like pushing someone. It's no different like you join a basketball team or whatever sport team you want to say, and you got that person, that captain, that's like telling you, hey man, you got to go ahead and do this to get yourself better and so forth. So, but I mean that was my personal thing. But I've always been curious for you, Dale, to kind of go down the memory lane side of things about how did you come into damage? You were on damage before I jumped on. Were Did you come in individually, or were you part of that package deal? Because I know there was a package deal that's where Darth kind of jumped on.
I
Or you,
was here before Darth and Menace.
what? Okay, so you're more like the founder.
No, not really. I came in. There was two co-leaders. Red. I was actually a little confused because the guy had a name like yours, so I wasn't sure if it was you or not.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, yeah, but Red was a female leader, and she pushed really hard on people. And then Menace did the same thing when he first joined, but then he changed his tune. Put a while into it.
Okay. Okay. So I think I kind of remember that story a little bit because there was something that Menace shared with me, and I thought it was hilarious. And it was part of like because after I left Alliance, I went back because I'm more one of those people that the prior alliance I was with was very like lost, and I felt like I needed to help them out, and I always kind of had that trait like I always would take away my personal gameplay to help others kind of grow through the alliance. So I went back and got a taste about more competitive play alliance, and I went back to the very 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 casual alliance that was just like not knowing what they were doing. But anyways, and I had made a commitment that I told them I'll come back and kind of check with them or whatever, and then that eventually folded and jumped back. But anyways, in between transitions, Minutes had kind of talked about that, and I don't know if this is the same story or not, but I thought it was an interesting story, and I would love to share. Maybe we should try to bring him back on. I'm gonna reach out to Minutes, but it was like he had like a video of him snapping. Have you ever seen that, Darth? Did Minutes ever share a story of there was some type of, I guess alliances all kind of go through some type of friction, and something was going on between like I guess he might have been part of one of those, what are those alliances called where you kind of jump back and forth like
Sure.
yeah, something like,
Cluster.
yeah, like a cluster. There you go, a cluster one, and that he that whoever that leader was kind of abandoning them and then coming back, and then he basically said, we have enough of that, and he took on the leadership role, but they coordinated something as far as how a group were all going to leave together and then form something. So I don't know, were you part of that, Darth, or like that little?
Oh no, that was all before me.
That was before you. Well, how about for you? Were you then, Dart? I mean, Dell. Do you remember
Yeah, I
that?
was here. He actually, when he took over control, he initially kicked me off to a side alliance because I wasn't pulling enough weight
Oh
in
shit.
his mind.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't remember those exactly when Hella came out. When Hella came out, I was sort of really fed up with the game and was pretty burnt out.
Yeah.
So I thought I was going to be done, but somehow I got back into it.
All right. Well, anyway, so it was just interesting, just like that. I just kind of like going on our own personal memory lane, just kind of sharing a little bit. I'm sure everybody alliances have their own little stories and things of that nature, and something just to kind of, at the end of the day, it's just a game. It's just kind of going back upon what was your core values and coming into it, right? And I guess that's my personal advice onto those that are getting frustrated because it feels, the last thing I'll talk about, like this whole thing is like, it's really cadence oriented. I wanted to go into some deep research to kind of show you what I mean by the cadence of frustration that they do on this, because I was looking through a timeline. I was trying to use mobile gamers videos on he uploaded because spring break is approaching, and I know for a fact that every spring break this is the same sentiment where people are pissed, like on the high end of frustration with the game. And last when I went in, but he uploads so many damn videos I barely got into the first year part of it, and that's when Reminex was quitting. And if y'all remember a little bit of Reminex quitting, that was when he was frustrated because there was some type of alliance event that people were kind of cheating with, right? And so that was what threw him off initially. And of course, he's back on and so forth. But then previously to that, there was like maybe the Silver Surfer release or something going on. But every year during spring break, I always remember because I'm with my family. I'm kind of away from the game, but I'm still kind of in tune. Like, man, everybody's so pissed off. I want to kind of hear what's going on, like what's going on with this drama. So here we are in spring break, and here's a new thing that people are kind of frustrated with. So I don't know.
The first one I remember is when Cyclops came out. I can't remember what it was, but I remember a lot of people tried to boycott the purchases of Cyclops because they were upset with the game.
Yeah.
And Cyclops was my favorite X-Men growing up, so I was very conflicted. I ended up not buying him, and then sort of regretted it. So I did build my X-Men high for a long time, but it didn't really matter in the long run.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna cut down our video. We went over 30 minutes here, so if anything, I guess a quick way to kind of go into what to prepare and kind of look at for the next week is, I'll use this particular. It really is all about hoarding, man. I mean, like hoarding and being mindful about when to start spending what you've hoarded is what the new sentiment is going to start becoming. And I know people are kind of pissed. I know Mobile was all really outraged about it. And I get it, but I think it's more about, at least if you're engaged in watching shows, whether it be ours, and which, with our 20 people. No, but people that are watching like Mobile, which is in the thousands, at least you're prepared to kind of understanding what you need to start doing. It's the casual people that kind of don't see any of this stuff. And what I'm getting at is like, we talked about, earning the power cores for just charging stations. So that's what you're doing. You're trying to earn it. Then when the cold storage drops off, you kind of have to pause a little bit. Of course, you're going to go ahead and start, looking to earn the Cosmic Crucible credits, which is opening the rewards that I still have on my mailbox. I haven't opened up that weekly reward yet, which kind of sucks. I know we hadn't hit on that, but you probably did a little bit, Darth. Just like how I'm not going to get mad if our individual mates that started popping open their, Cosmic Crucible rewards because they got to progress. I'm not, So, but anyways, I held back on mine. And then the Commander's Cache, which comes up, and it's right here, the third spin power cores on March 8th. So then that's when it correlates with each other that you go ahead and start getting the double benefits of power cores towards the storage, towards the Commander's Cache. So really target that Wednesday being the date of when you should feel comfortable as far as, spending power cores accordingly. And then, of course, it's like going back and forth. And then there's gold. Earn gold, spend gold. And again, that's part of that cache. And then I guess the last tip on Friday, save campaign energy for orb fragments from select nodes for historic encounter beginning on Friday. All right. But I'll leave it at that. Stay tuned, Twitch. But I just want to cut off the video for YouTube. We'll go into Cosmic Crucible. Probably in between shows, we'll kind of still digest a little bit what we've been talking about. But otherwise, YouTube, y'all take it easy. Hope you enjoy your week. Stay positive as best as you can. Just enjoy the game play of it. Again, stop chasing purchases unless you want to. I mean, again, I can't tell you how to play your game, but definitely just whatever makes you happy. Take care. All right. Bye-bye.